What's up, my Mind Your Money business folks? It's me yet again with another video on today's stock market news. And as always, hopefully you're in the market and not trying to time the market because that is simply impossible to do. And hopefully you're still not straddling the fence and you are investing into appreciating assets to include yourselves. Now, I've been doing a lot of research this weekend. Reading and listening to a lot of things, and there appears to be a lot on the horizon in the coming days, months. But I'm still taking it all in. I'm still doing my research. I'm still thinking about recalibrating my portfolio. But before that, let's get into the stock market today. So it says here the NASDAQ S&P 500 mount midday recovery as market returns from holiday. So what happened today? What is this? It's not a full report. So let's find something else, right? Sorry about that. Wow. This is now I'm changing my my heading, my title, because things have taken a turn in the market. It says the Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ slide, Bitcoin plummets in rocky start to December. That's interesting. So it says U.S. stocks slipped on Monday while Bitcoin slumped, while deepening as Wall Street's strong late November rebound took a bumpier turn to begin December. Now, the last I looked, Bitcoin was at 86,000. Oh, it's at, oh wow. I guess maybe I looked wrong. Bitcoin has lost $6,441 today. Wow. Just think about this. Bitcoin was up over 120 something thousand, let's say just a month and a half ago maybe. And now they're down to 85,000. That's a steep loss. That's why I said I was doing a lot of researching and reading and listening to different things this weekend. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that a lot of us are not privy to. I'm not sure what to believe. That's why I'm still doing my own personal research. And then at some point, I will have to make a decision or stay the course. And I'm still trying to figure out what that course is going to be or what I'm going to do. Because I don't know. I'm not behind the veil. I'm not in these conversations with these companies, with the government that's making decisions that affects all of us, that affects the stock market. It affects those of you that aren't even investing. The price of goods and services are continuing to go up. So that affects us. Money may not be important, but we all need it. We all need it. So it says that the NASDAQ composite dropped 0.4% while the S&P 500 fell 0.4%. The Dow slid around 0.7% after the blue chip benchmark led Wall Street indexes to a fifth day of gains on Friday. So shares of AI heavyweight Nvidia fell 1% at the open before reversing course and gaining afternoon trading. Apple stock rose 0.8%, hitting an intraday high of $281.21. That's true, because Apple was hovering around the low 200 for quite a while, and now they're not. Meanwhile, Bitcoin fell sharply, losing over 7%, and another sign that markets are kicking December off in a risk-off mood. The leading cryptocurrency sank 85,000, a token extending a weeks-long slide. So I'm going to just pause and say this. I've been reading like all types of reports. Like, it's not that some of these things are doing bad. There's a problem with the market. There's a problem with governments around the world. And so a lot of people are taking their money out of these things that are at their all-time high, like the Nvidias, like the Palantir, like Bitcoin, and they're placing their money elsewhere. It would be interesting for me to see where gold is, because they're saying a lot of the rich are buying gold, right? And also, I'm looking into energy stock, right? You know what? Before I get distracted, that's ADHD. Let me finish the article. But either way, that's what I'm reading, and that's what I'm hearing. A lot of money is being taken out of Bitcoin, out of the stock market, and they're placing, because the money has to go somewhere. Where is this money going? It's going somewhere, and it could be going into these precious metals like gold, silver, maybe other commodities that they say have real value, because they're saying like the dollar is losing its value, and as long as the dollar is losing its value, it's going to affect the stock market. Because also, remember, as of December 1st, the Fed has ended quantitative tightening, and they're meeting later this month to talk about interest rates. Then there's talk about a $2,000 stimulus check. So I see that as a sign of opening up the floodgates, and money's going to flow into the market. People are going to spend money. And if that truly happens, yeah, I'm going to be selling some of my stock as well. So we shall see. If the market goes up the remainder of this month and January, that's a pause for concern, as far as what I'm researching and what I'm paying attention to. But I'm keeping an open mind, and I'm remaining optimistic. So we'll see what happens. So either way, December is typically a strong month for stocks, but strategists say the so-called Santa Claus rally may not happen this year after a string of events, not least President Trump's tariff push kept uncertainty high. That has led stocks to buck the usual seasonal trends throughout 2025, analysts say. Focus is still on the Federal Reserve's path for interest rate, even as over 85% of bets ride on a quarter-point reduction at policymakers meeting next week. So they're meeting next week. So the Thanksgiving week rally was fueled in large part by rising hopes for a cut and lower borrowing costs on the back of supportive comments from Fed officials. But the central bank has now centered a blackout ahead of its gathering. It's interesting that they call the Fed like the central bank, but they're not a bank. However, they can print money out of thin air. And so the printing of this money out of thin air, it has really no value when you think about it. And it took me a while to understand this, because no one worked for that money. They just gave this money away freely. And that added to our deficit, which is, it's like what I talk about getting out of debt to you guys that are listening. Like America right now is like $38 trillion in debt. Pretty much damn near bankrupt. And I think the tariffs, the uncertainty about the market, the hostility that may come from our government officials, the tension that we're feeling, it has a lot to do with that. And I believe there's a fight going on behind the scenes with those elites and powerful people, because I do not believe they're on the same page. They're not on the same page. This isn't the same America. You have a mixture of different ideas and opinions, in my opinion. And I think they're just not getting along. And I think they haven't been getting along for a very long time. However, we're starting to see the problems because we're experiencing it in the stock market in America. The prices of goods and services are going up. People are not getting paid well. People being laid off in droves. So it's not the same place. So that's why you need to be careful. That's why you need to get out of debt. So anyway, back to the article. That puts the spotlight on economic data to set expectations for rates as releases continue to return to normal following the government shutdown, which was very long, right? The highlight comes Friday with the delayed arrival of September personal consumption expenditures, PCE index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. Wall Street is also bracing for a potential change of leadership at the Fed after a year of Trump butting heads with Fed Chair Jerome Powell, because the government has no control over the Feds. None. None whatsoever. And that's where the problem is. It's like there are two forms of government. You have the US government, and then you have the Fed, who controls the money. That's why you have a lot of people taking their money and putting it into gold, not US dollars. They're buying gold and silver, precious metals. I'm still trying to understand it, but I suggest to do your research, people. Because currently the US dollar is the standard, right? So do your research before I confuse you even more, because I'm starting to confuse myself. Anyway, so it says Trump said Sunday he has made his choice for replacing Powell. Trump didn't give a name, though White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett is seen as the most likely candidate. So that means that's like putting a person in place that you can control, you can possibly manipulate, someone that may do your bidding so that you guys can work together. Because right now, the president and Jerome Powell are not on the same page. They're not. So that's it for the news. So let's see what the market is doing. So SPYM, the S&P 500, is currently down 29 cents. Palantir is down 60 cents. Tesla is down a little over $2. Broadcom took a big hit, down over $16. FTEC, Information Technology ETF, is down 34 cents. NVIDIA is up $2, a little over $2. So yeah, that's what's happening in the market, right? So let me see. Top gold. So let's see what gold is doing. Let's see what NIM is. See if they're up today. I'm just going to check one and I'm going to end this. Yeah, gold is up. Gold is up today. So yeah, that's just what I'm reading. I'm going to roll my money. Well, not roll. I'm going to really diversify my money into gold, silver, and also energy, because power, we need power, right? So yeah. All right, so I'm going to end this video. But before I get in this video, again, get out of debt, people. I'm telling you, like the stuff that I'm listening to, if you're in a lot of debt, if you have no investments, if you have no money saved, the hurricane that may possibly come, you're not going to be prepared for, especially if you get laid off. They're not talking about it, but people are being laid off. And I believe when this technology comes online, slowly but surely, there will be more and more people being laid off. Because if a company can have something automated, then they don't need people. It's unfortunate because the bottom line of the company is to make more money for the company and its shareholders. And shareholders are investors, right? And it's not like they don't care about people, but that's just the way the system is and has been created. So just like how businesses can cut away things that are costing them more money, like people, that's what we need to do as people in our lives. Cut away things that are taking money out of our pockets and away from our families. Cut out all of this unnecessary stuff, unnecessary spending. Get out of buying these brand new cars and having a $700, $1,000 car payment and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Get out of all of this credit card debt. Get out of all of this personal loan debt. Get out of student loan debts. Just get out of debt so that you have more control over your money and you can have your money work for you. In America, we have buyers, we have investors, and we have consumers. And most Americans are consumers. Well, not buyers, but you have business owners, investors, and consumers. Majority of the people, again, are consumers. You have the businesses that are selling consumers products. The consumers buy products from the businesses, and the businesses are making money, and so are the investors who are investing into these businesses. So you need to become an investor so your money can work for you. Your money will outwork you any day. Your money does not get tired. Your money appreciates over time, even when you're on the decline. Because as we get older, we're pretty much on the decline. The older we get, the steeper that decline also gets. And you want that decline to be graceful, not a plunge. Where it's just, okay, I'm done, right? You want to have a solid foundation that carries you as you get older. Because you will check out. And if I were you, I would rather check out on my own terms in a good way and not in a terrible, sad way because I did not take advantage of the resources that I had at the time when they were present. Because things are going to change and they're not changing. They're just changing. And the change is not good. It's not bad. It's what we call change. It's all about being prepared for the change. And there's change coming. Actually, it's already here, right? And I'm seeing it, and I'm trying to figure out why most people are not talking about it and planning for it. So I'm going to end this video. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you think. If you think anything at all, a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I pretending to be one. So any and all information on my channel is for entertainment purposes only. It just reflects my opinion. So please consult with a financial advisor before you invest any of your hard-earned money. All right, so you guys take care. Have a blessed day. Peace. Love you.